Hello, beautiful people. It's Cinderella. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're back again with another video, still on the Blake Lively and the Justin Baldoni situation. We're gonna check this video together. This is from Candace Owens. The title looks quite interesting. It reads: Ryan Reynolds wants to come out of the lawsuit. Candace, Candace Owens, Candace. Yeah, okay. We're gonna check this together, and I'll love your thoughts and your contribution at the end of the video. Let's dive right in.
To give you first and foremost, let's jump right into Ryan Reynolds. So I left you the last time we covered this on Monday. I was telling you that something that was really interesting was this guy's perspective, the husband's perspective. Like, hey, obviously, like this guy's gay, no hard feelings, but this is not how straight men text. And it was really hilarious and also kind of cut through all of the red tape. And I had also mentioned to you that Ryan Reynolds, obviously we figured this out by now, kind of creates these characters of himself. Like there is actually no difference between Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds. That's the reason why the character is successful. It's actually him. And what better way to become successful than really just playing yourself and the person that you are. And my producer reminded me, I had seen the first Deadpool, that there's this scene, I don't think I can actually say it, a really gross graphic scene regarding Ryan Reynolds in a sex scene that indicates maybe quite a bit now when we re-examine his characters over the years. But I had mentioned to you that also on Family Guy, they had done this thing where they were very heavily implying that Ryan Reynolds was gay. Unbeknownst to me, Ryan Reynolds actually played Ryan Reynolds in the Family Guy skit. So he acquiesced to this. And it's not the first time that he's done it, where he's written himself into a skit and wanted it to be about homosexuality. It's just a coincidence, I guess, but here is the clip from Family Guys.
You gotta taste this lamb tagine. Here.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Come on, you'll love it. Just a taste.
What the hell?
That was intense, what you just did.
Lots of flavors. Whoops.
Oh, freeze frame. What's gonna happen next?
I think I gotta go to the bathroom.
And then they go on and they have this confrontation where he's like, no, I'm not gay. But again, why does he feel the need to like write that in so many different scenes? And here's where it's going to get weird. You let me know when you're uncomfortable, okay? So Ryan Reynolds also did this skit. There was a lot of funny humor about the fact that he was not Ryan Gosling because women, obviously, during the time The Notebook came out, preferred Ryan Gosling. They loved Ryan Gosling. And he leaned into this repeatedly by pretending to be Ryan Gosling in The Notebook, but preferring to redo those scenes with men, I suppose. I'm not Ryan Gosling, hence the Andrew Garfield kiss at the Golden Globes. We'll get to that. But watch this between him and Conan O'Brien.
It wasn't over. It still isn't.
The kiss is still happening. The kiss is still happening. It's still happening. It's still going on. It's still happening. I just wanted to let you guys know that it was just still happening. It's a lot. It just kept going on. And that was 25 seconds, and it looks like they cut some of it. So it probably went on for longer than 25 seconds. Again, is it always just a bit? Here he is in a more clear picture of him kissing Andrew Garfield for the same reasons, to take Ryan Gosling's moment at the 2017 Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes moment everyone is talking about.
There he is.
But if you blink, you might have missed it. Ryan Reynolds and Andrew Garfield shared a smooch.
Okay, and then...
Wait. How do you just go about kissing other dudes? And you are very straight. Because, I mean, straight people, they know that you don't just go about to kiss same sex. You are very, very straight. Very straight. But straight people know that you don't go about to kiss somebody like the same sex. But I mean, that is quite interesting.
Missed it. Ryan Reynolds and Andrew Garfield shared a smooch.
Okay, and then also, unbeknownst to me, he was also in the movie Ted, that stuffed animal, and he had a moment with Patrick Warburton, and they decided to be funny and kiss. And he did it again at the Genie Awards because it's really funny. He kissed a fellow Canadian actor, Scott Thompson. Now, of that moment, we just have a photo of it. It just is a recurring bit, okay? I just wanted to let you guys know it's a recurring bit, and it's just a bit. He's just acting. There's nothing more to be seen there. He just likes to write these skits and these bits at award shows, and also when he's on these late-night talk shows, and also writes that a lot into his character. When he can control the script, he thinks it's funny to imply that he's gay. Take from that what you will. Okay, so anyways, they obviously, meaning Justin Baldoni's team, have been going after Ryan Reynolds for defamation, extortion, false light, intentional interference with contractual relations. They presented a very strong argument as to all of those claims, 6 of them. And I would say, having reviewed this case, having from the very beginning noticed, I think I was kind of the first one who said, no, Ryan is problematic here, because I had a source that had said that to me, that Ryan was the person who came onto set and essentially took things over after Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively allegedly were getting along great. He was filming Deadpool and Wolverine, came back, and then kind of just blew everything up, figuratively speaking. Ryan, I would say, in my opinion, is plausibly the most guilty party of this entire thing. Okay. He has just been publicly humiliating Justin Baldoni as soon as he could, as many times as he could, and using as many A-list actors as he could. And we have not even seen his text messages yet. Like, this is just what we've been able to discern from Deadpool skits, It Ends With Us skits, birthday messages to Sandra Bullock, really wacky stuff. So the idea that Ryan's going to come to court and claim that he is wrongly named in this lawsuit, it just sort of offends my sensibilities a little bit. Just like it offends my sensibilities to keep telling me that you keep writing yourself as a homosexual man into all of these various circumstances, and no one's allowed to question that. But anyways, he did file to be dismissed from the lawsuit, which I would say, by the way, that is standard. You're at first going to try to throw anything at the wall and say, Your Honor, I don't even want to be a part of this thing. This has nothing to do with me. And so he has committed to this filing, and his lawyers are just not fun to read. They don't give us the pietistic bastion of the media. They don't give us that entry point. And they open up with a rather glorious thesis. And that thesis is essentially that Ryan is actually such a good guy that he kind of had to be a bad guy. I'm not kidding. That's kind of the overarching thesis that's going on here. It starts out with, on the top of page 1 of it, Blake Lively sued Jamie Heath, Justin Baldoni, etc., after they collectively launched a retaliatory social manipulation campaign to destroy and bury her because she privately spoke up about sexual harassment and inappropriate conduct. And it goes on, so what does Ryan Reynolds have to do with that, legally speaking, other than being a supportive spouse who has witnessed firsthand the emotional, reputational, and financial devastation that Miss Lively has suffered? And then they say nothing. He's got nothing to do with that whatsoever. Then beginning on page 2, they move to dismiss the first part of the claim, a defamation claim, while sort of also copping to the fact that Ryan Reynolds did call Justin Baldoni a predator. Remember, they had in their lawsuit said that he went up to a guy that worked at WME. This was allegedly at the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere, and said, you need to let go of him from WME because he's a sexual predator. And their argument to that is, well, Ryan believed that that was true. Ryan believed that he was a predator, and therefore, this is not problematic because he believed it. The exact language is, the entirety of the plaintiff's defamation claim appears to be based on the 2 times that Mr. Reynolds allegedly called Mr. Baldoni a predator. But the FAC, which is just the initial filing, the filing of the amended complaint, alleges no plausible facts that suggest that Mr. Reynolds did not believe this comment to be true. Calling someone a predator amounts to constitutionally protected opinion. So I want to tell you that this is actually the strongest part of their argument that's being made, because I will say truthfully, it's a good defense. It's not strong enough to get him dropped from this lawsuit or dismissed, but an actual belief in the claim would be sufficient enough to prove that there was no actual malice, right? That Ryan Reynolds was not acting in reckless disregard to the truth. And I actually do believe that Ryan Reynolds has demonstrated that he's a narcissist. He's a total narcissist. He cannot comprehend a world. I truly believe he cannot comprehend a world in which him and his wife are not liked. This entire lawsuit, I believe, happened because him and Blake Lively were deluded enough to believe that it was inorganic traffic online. Like this, there's no way people don't like us. We're so wonderful. We're so amazing. We're so hot. We're so pretty. Our friends are rich. We know Taylor Swift. The world loves us. Like, come on, look at us. We just wake up and birds start singing. And
not just that, maybe just like how people or Hollywood have been presenting them to be the power couple, Hollywood couple or Hollywood favorite couple and all that. So they think they can just stay favorite forever. People just can't, for the love of God. It's not possible for people to not like the Reynolds couple, and they are cute together. So how is it that you can't like Fine Face? Well, shocker. People get tired and bored sometimes, and when is your time? It is your time.
Start singing and Skittles start falling from the sky. Now, like I said, irrelevant. It's not going to work in my view in order to get an outright dismissal, because the judge would have to believe that in the process, the next process, which has to take place, which would be the limited discovery, that they wouldn't actually find that he did explicitly defame him in text messages, that it's just going to be that he called him a predator. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the judge is going to believe that's the case. If he was behaving that way publicly, just imagine what his text messages are going to say about Justin Baldoni. If he was willing to call him a predator publicly, as he assumed this nice pool character, just imagine what we're going to find when we can read text messages between him and Hugh Jackman, not to be confused with Hugh Hefner, and show that he definitely probably called him a few more names. And regarding that nice pool character, they kind of get a little bratty here. They claim it's not actionable because it's satire. They write, calling someone a predator amounts to constitutionally protected opinion. And the FACs, the filing amended complaints, thin-skinned outrage over a movie character, the satirical woke nice pool, does not even pretend to be tied to any actual legal claims. Instead, it falls into the FAC's general allegation of quote unquote hurt feelings. That's a pretty, I would say, risky argument to make in the court of public opinion. So everything is falling down for you guys because people perceive you as bullies. And you're essentially saying like a bully argument, which is, so what, big deal, sorry your feelings are hurt, but this doesn't arise to an actual claim. It's completely invalid. We can make fun of you if we want. We can bully you in nice pool if we want. Is there a legal argument that, that satire is protected speech? Yes, there absolutely is. But if I was their lawyer, I wouldn't have put that, I wouldn't have used that language. Thin-skinned outrage, essentially, over us bullying you. That doesn't make you look good on paper. It doesn't make you look good in the court of public opinion. It makes you look like what you actually are, which are a bunch of bullies who think they can get away with everything. And I would imagine that both courts at this moment matter to you and your wife. So not a good argument to make outside of a legal scope. Probably, the nice pool character is not going to be actionable, if I'm being frank. Then they go on to claim that Ryan Reynolds' extortion claim is invalid because he, quote, fails to allege that he received any money or property. Okay, that's a completely ridiculous argument to say, well, you can't prove that this was extortion because Ryan didn't personally receive any money or property is just dumb. There's no other way to say it. It's legally dumb because that's not the only way that extortion works, okay? So extortion is not limited legally to having received money or property. The legal definition of extortion is, quote, obtaining something of value like money or property or services from someone by using threats or coercion, including the threat of harm, the exposure of secrets, or false claims of official rights. That last part is really important. Exposure of secrets or false claims of official rights. That is exactly what they are demonstrating, what they are alleging, Justin Baldoni and co. are alleging, is that they were behind the scenes in order to receive what? Well, control over the movie, right? There is evidence that this is exactly what Ryan Reynolds and his wife did in order to take control of the movie, that they went to the studio heads, that they went to the executives of Sony, and at first threatened to walk away from the movie entirely. We've already seen that in the email proof.
Exactly.
Like, this is not a negotiation. This is a hostage situation. Here's how it's going to go. She's not coming back unless you agree to the 17 redundant claims. Okay, well, that is a financial threat. You're saying to them, do what we want, this as a first step, do what we want, or else we're going to walk away from your project and leave you millions of dollars in the hole, as you're going to have to reshoot everything you shot plus find another lead character to the movie. That's a crazy threat, okay? And that was just the first step. Then we know that's how they got to replace allegedly, the same exact maneuver that they used to replace what his name is, Brian Tyler, the composer on the movie. Well, Taylor Swift is not going to give you this unless we get what we want. She wants this credit. She wants this credit. She wants her edits. And they were able to do this by threatening to release information about them, right? Yes. Essentially saying, we're going to say that there were sexual harassment claims on set. And if we don't get what we want, then there's going to be big trouble for you. And even that Reddit post, that notorious Reddit post, let's not forget it. That person who ended up being correct about everything said that they used this behind the scenes to maneuver Sony to do what they want. And then we got to read Ryan demanding that they make a public statement taking full ownership over Blake's reputation being
this. And I mean, we have Khaleesi. Let's not forget about the berating part, fat shaming, Khaleesi message, dragons, gorgeous monsters of mine.
Sunk by her own interviews. And that was when his PR person said, Justin, it's time to lawyer up. Ryan was like, here's what you're going to read out loud. This, to me, is a lot of evidence that Ryan himself quarterbacked this entire situation, okay? Also, don't forget, remember, Blake chose him to be her quote-unquote representative, who was present at the meeting when she presented her list of demands and screamed, and Ryan shouted at Justin Baldoni to resume filming. That meeting that took place in January in their penthouse, she quite literally spells that out in her own complaint, that she had a right to choose somebody to be her representative, and she chose Ryan. So you can't do the now I'm just a doting husband. You can't do I did what any husband would do and I just believed my woman, okay? No, you took it a step further. That's not what husbands do in terms of inserting themselves in the contractual negotiations. At that point, you are acting as more than a husband. Then their allegations, in my view, completely fall apart as you go on further into this lawsuit. In the next sentence, they claim, quote, that Ryan interfered with a contract without identifying what that contract is, what the provisions were allegedly breached, or even which of them were parties to it. So they're saying you're alleging that, you lost a contract, but you haven't been specific about that. That's not even a clever bit of lawyering right there. Baloney's claim was extremely clear in their filed amended complaint that he was dropped from WME agency. So it is obviously way too early for them to have presented what his contract was or anything. That will come down the line. But as an initial filing, they're very clear. Okay. And not only were they clear about that, then the CEO of WME, Ari Emanuel, outright admitted that he dropped Baldoni to be loyal to, remember Baloney, to be loyal to Blake and Ryan. He did this. So they're not going to win on that. When they get into the background of the case, they then try to diminish Ryan's role in a way that, in my opinion, completely maximizes it. When you look at the bottom of page 4, then they start getting into the nitty gritty of what Ryan has done. And it's a lot. It's just a lot. He did, 1, demand that the Wayfarer parties publicly apologize for their so-called mistakes during production. Right? 2, he was present during a meeting at the apartment that he shares with Miss Lively. 3, allegedly contributed some writing of his own to the script. By the way, going back to the story claim, how could I forget? Yes, Ryan also wrote his scene into Justin's movie. How did he maneuver that? How are they going to be able to prove that? Again, talking about a form of extortion. We're going to get into those dragon text messages. We're going to get into her saying she didn't feel seen, that Taylor Swift, this and that if he was a good little boy, his dragon wouldn't burn. If you're a good behave, Khaleesi won't burn you. Ouchie, ouchie. That's a form, in my view. And again, this is my view. That is going to be a very strong claim. The judge is going to look at that evidence, look at the text messages and be like, yeah, this man was operating under duress. And then only to find out that if you want to prove that this woman lied to extort that, to take control of the movie over you.
Not just that. Talk about the PGA mark. You see, like you can see their handwriting and their footprints everywhere. But again, they want out, right? Yeah, they want out. See, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, they need to do a masterclass on how their confidence level and all that, because it needs to be studied, and some of us would really love to learn how they got that level of boldness, because the both of them together. Imagine if one person have the both of them their boldness. Do you know? You're untouchable.
Again, to make herself more than just an actress, the evidence is in the fact that not only did they commit to that, but then even after Justin gave her that, he found out that actually Ryan wrote it. So she lied. Ryan wrote the opening scene. So Ryan, you're not getting dismissed, okay? Your wife became essentially the owner of the movie, okay? And you became a writer on the movie in the most critical scene, from my understanding, people who love this book and follow everything, in the most critical scene. And so I think, all of that's going to become very relevant, and there's just going to be no chance that a judge is going to randomly dismiss him from this. And he then moves on to arguing jurisdiction. Again, I told you why that's important, because if it takes place in California versus New York, well then if it takes place in New York, which Ryan desperately wants, then immediately that false light claim drops, because they have different laws as it pertains to how defamation is treated. And he knows that he will get more protection in New York. Again, an effort that is understood. A lawyer is always going to try to get you dismissed from the case. I just don't think that this is going to work when it comes to Ryan Reynolds. Oh, also, Skylar, I don't know if we pulled it. If we haven't, please do. But there's this really weird clip of Colleen Hoover going around. Have you guys seen this clip? Ryan, do we have that clip? Skylar, do we have that clip? Yeah, pull it, and then I will just read a couple of our sponsors, and then we'll come back and get into it, because I just thought that was one of the craziest things. Anyways, I want to show you this headline showing you that Ryan in Variety is already coming out and basically saying, you can't sue me over your hurt feelings. Like I said, I can't imagine a more ridiculous argument to make. Like, nobody is thinking about beyond this lawsuit. They're very short-sighted here, and this was not the way to go, to basically say I'm a bully and I can get away with it, which explains why Brian Friedman, after reading through this filing to be dismissed, gave a pretty strong statement. Brian Friedman, my homie, my brother from another mother, this is what he had to say about it. He said, quote, Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case, despite his publicly documented involvement extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse. Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME into dropping Justin as a client, and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible. His fingerprints have been all over the smear campaign against Justin and the Wayfarer team since day one. Mr. Reynolds now attempts to reduce plainly cognizable claims to quote-unquote hurt feelings, sending a clear message that bullying is acceptable. That's how I felt when I read it. It's just like bullying is acceptable. Oh well, satire. I can make fun of you however I want. The
Yeah.
statement continues. After lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work. The Wayfarer party's claims against him are real and they are serious. Mr. Reynolds can appear on as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation. We will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions. Amen. That is how I feel as I follow this case. It's like I said, a very important case for us. Everything seems to be happening at the same time, by the way. I know we're not getting to JFK today, but I thought about this. I'm like, the JFK files, and obviously after JFK got shot, this may not be something that you know, but this is when the CIA, who obviously killed JFK alongside with the Mossad, in my viewpoint, I think those secret agencies worked together. I'll get into that tomorrow. But afterwards is when they launched that project, Operation Mockingbird, and they put the New York Times people on staff and were paying them to essentially persuade the public that everything that they saw wasn't real and to try to button up this story about how JFK got shot. The New York Times played a piece in that. And now we're kind of fast forwarding to so many years later. Those files are getting released. We now recognize that the conspiracy theorists weren't conspiracy theorists. They were just people that were being gaslit by the media. And the chief gaslighters have been the New York Times. Like, they have always been a crucial piece of the propagandist puzzle. And so when I look at this and I'm going, it's all happening right now, it just feels like there's this great beast that's awakening. And you may not tie what's going on with Justin Baldoni to what happened to Harvey Weinstein or what happened to JFK. But it's all connected. It's about the media understanding that they can't do this anymore. They can't ruin lives and then try to gaslight us. And that's why I love how hard he's hitting the pietistic bastion of the New York Times. But similarly, Hollywood plays a role in this. They put out movies. They're a part of this propagandist effort. They build up people, like we discussed yesterday when we spoke about Taylor Swift and Jamie King, her other friend, famous friend, who has just lost her child in a dispute hearing because of a drug addiction. They build up all of these people, and we're supposed to believe they're good people, that they're trustworthy people, that we should want to be like these people. And suddenly there's a lot of clarity being provided. And we're looking at you, Hollywood, a little bit differently. We've got questions certainly about Taylor Swift, even though we're still going to bop to London Boy forever. We've agreed on that as a society. And we're looking at people like Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively and the New York Times. And that is why I am obsessed with this case, because it's just all coming down for everybody in a wonderful way. And we should be proud of that. We should be proud because it's actually bringing us closer, because we're finally identifying who the real enemies are. And it ain't us. We're warring with each other, and it benefits real power. And now we're looking at real power structures. A lot of updates.
So this now, to them now, they want out because I mean, they can dish it but they can't take it, or they are making it seem like, or making it look like, oh, bullying is totally acceptable from their part. It is acceptable, or it is okay because they are the Reynolds couple. They can do it and get away with, or they can do and get away with. But if you complain, or if you dare want to complain about it, and if you don't like it, then to hell with you. Nobody freaking cares. But if they don't like it, or if they don't like the actions, then they can complain about it, and everybody is gonna listen to them. See, it is so rich coming from them, and I'm gonna say it again. Their confidence needs to be studied. It honestly needs to be studied, for being honest, because whoever is telling them that, yo guys, you guys are the people, are the men, yeah, he's giving them real good advice. But see, uh Blake and Ryan, you guys see, you know exactly what you're doing. From the onset, or from the get-go, your footprints have been written in the movie. If they have whatever evidence they have to prove their claim, so far we are seeing that they just want, like, people to like them so bad, and they are trying to tell you that, see, they can do anything and get away with. They can bully and get away with. They can make a whole movie to mock somebody and get away with, because it is in their right, or they are in the right. But I bet you, if it was Justin Baldoni that made a whole movie to mock this, I don't think all of us would be breathing fresh or clean air. Think about it for a moment. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'm sure tons of people have interesting things to share. I really love to share that. You can share the useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.